Now, in this video, I want to show you a little bit about the basics, simple basics for the casual player about armies. Now, I'm going to do this quickly. This is a little bit inside of my little campaign that I'm doing right now. Anyway, now I'm going to start with the simple things. Counters. What does counters mean? It doesn't say a lot in game. It pretty much means if you have the same amount of regiments, so the sizes here, as your countering part, so let's say the heavy infantry in this case, so let's say both me and the enemy has 600 units or 6 sizes, okay? It's about the sizes. It's about the size, not about the amount, okay? That means that this skirmisher reduces the damage of the armored footman by 45%, okay? Flat, 45%, 1-to-1 ratio. If you have a 2-to-1 ratio, you put the damage output of this armored footman to minus 90%. That's the maximum, you can't get more. So the heavy infantry only does 10% damage. That's only damage, not HP, okay? So the HP is not influenced by this. Point number 1. The numbers in between are proportional, so if you have, let's say, 1.5-to-1 ratio, you are doing the middle between 45 and 90, which is probably something like 70 or 75% damage reduction. And that's the basics. Obviously, it works in the same direction on the other side. If you have 0.5-to-1, you only reduce the damage by 22.5%. But that's the simple parts. These things obviously add up. So if you have horse archers, 6 sizes, 6 sizes of skirmishers against 6 sizes of heavy infantry, you do minus 90% damage output for the armored footmen. Okay, so they stack with each other. It's all about damage. So if you have what counters him and he has what counters you, everybody just does 10% damage. It's simple as that. Obviously, numbers don't really go up like that, but that's in theory. So everybody counters everybody, everybody gets the negatives. There are no positives to counters, and that's it. There are things, very, very quick throw into that. There are things that increase men-at-arms counter efficiency by 10%. That means instead of 45% reduction, you do 49.5% reduction, okay? 10% extra. Cap is still 90, so you can't get better than 90. So it's just, with Greeks you can do a little bit more of a variety of army if you want to counter a little bit of everything. That's it. Second point, combat itself. Now I'm gonna go into this battle very quickly, just to show. Yeah, okay, that's feast, lovely. Just to show the overview here very quickly. That's enough, doesn't really matter. Now you can see here, this thing is countering. That's why it has this little funny red-green glow. This thing is fighting bad terrain. That's why it has the yellow glow. This thing doesn't do anything. This is in bad terrain once again. And this thing is having plus and minuses. Actually, the yellow glow means it has both. Red is negatives only. Now you can see here, this 10% because of the countered by footman, horse archer. Obviously, it's only like, what are they? 100 men, so it doesn't really matter. It's even less, it's even 34. And that's another part I come to very quickly. And light horsemen, we have the same thing because the big Yeri do counter them. Okay, simple. He doesn't counter anything from me. Oh, actually, he does counter this with the IR. Now you can see it's only 4% reduction because it's 600 to 34. It's about the numbers, okay? And 34 to 600 is probably exactly what makes 4%. I'm not gonna do the math. Now, the next thing, very important, is the following. Units have HP and damage, okay? So, let's say 100 footmen fight against 100 light footmen, okay? Armored against light. Now you say light footmen counter the armored footmen, so they are better, right? No, they are not. Funny thing here is, look at the stats, 10 and 16. The HP never gets influenced by any counters, so that's to ignore. 10 to 16. If this guy gets countered by 45%, which because they are 1 against 1. Ratio is 1 to 1, minus 45%. We round it down to 16, make it a flat 50%, just to understand it quicker. This guy still has more damage and more HP, 16 and 23 against 10 and 16. So, simply said, a armored footman is always better than a light footman if they are 1 versus 1. Okay? So an army of pure light footmen will do nothing, because these stats, even if they can be increased with barracks, not barracks, with tents and whatever, they are probably a little bit better than levies, but never forget that levies, you can't even see that here, have 10-10. Okay, so they are... Light footmen are almost as trashy as levies. And that comes to the next point in combat phase, where these people just run at each other and hurt each other. They deal damage tick by tick. And now comes the part of the HP. If you have more HP than the enemy, your numbers stay higher because you lose less men than the enemy, which also increases the counter efficiency because he loses more men than you. And more men than the enemy means more counter, so it's a absolute devil's foot. Like, you can run this math into circles and make trash out of it, like absolutely go crazy. But important is, if you have more HP, fucking noises here, if you have more HP than the enemy, he will always be in the negative, because in the end you have a higher counter, more men, everything. More damage also. So it's very important to have much HP and better counters at the same time. So if you only go light footmen, you may say, oh damn, I counter every armored footman, which is, yeah, it's cool, right? But if you fight someone that only has like a little bit of armored footmen and a lot of horses, you're fucked, because these guys do so much more damage than you. Like, your counter not only dies very quickly because your HP is low, but at the same time, like, his units just tank way more damage than you, right? So it's really just 1000 HP against 100 HP, and your damage is lower than theirs for most of this fight. Like, just thinking about that, right? If you have more troops that take more hits, you automatically win the battle. Easy as that. Let's see, how is my army? I have horse archers, which are especially damage dealers, but also have a nice toughness. I have 2 times skirmishers that are not full, because I'm a little bit watching on my money. They are pure anti-armored footmen counters, because I'm fighting a lot of Arabs and they have very good heavy infantry. Then I have horses against archers, so the archers deal less damage. I don't value that much, so it's fine. I have 1000 armored footmen because I know I need that HP, right? Because these guys, they are pretty much my meat. They take all the damage if you want so. And Bicchieri against horses, good in mountains and all that stuff, especially the Italian Bicchieris, spearmen. That's just a great unit against every horse. Plus, it also is very tanky, right? That's probably only for Bicchieri, I don't even know. They are same in HP. Just the damage output is a lot crazier. Anyway, that's the deal for them, okay? Combat, very important. HP and counters. HP and counters, both needed. You can't have only one of both. Okay, that's it. Now, let's talk about the last piece that I wanted to talk about, which is battle phases. Okay, battle phases. We do have the first maneuvering battle phase, which are the arrows. They don't do really anything, it's just the initiation of the battle. It's like 2 days long. Then we have the early battle phase, which is going on right now here. The bow, pretty much. This is a phase where the units just fight against each other. It's just damage output and taking hits. The The only thing in this phase is that if you defeat the enemy in this stage, every unit is dead. Okay, that's how you lose armies in one click, by the way, if you didn't know. Okay, then the sword phase, pretty much, is the late battle phase. It's just another, pretty much the same. They are fighting, but in this phase, they are just fighting and fighting until one side runs out of toughness, how it's called. It's actually HP. So this one is toughness, HP. So it's just damage output against HP output and the counters, obviously, that are going on in both phases here, the battle phases. So that's pretty much what I just described before. And that's going on here. Now, if you lose here or win here, the enemy can retreat. That's pretty much just... That pretty much means if you get into the late fighting stage, you get away with losses, okay? Otherwise you don't. Then there comes the flag phase. That's the aftermath phase. Pretty much one has won, one has lost. And in this phase, it's only 3 days long. The enemy traits, unit traits of Pursuit and Screen come into play. Pursuit is for the offensive guy. That pretty much means if the more Pursuit you have, the more units you can kill within the aftermath phase, in the flag phase here. And the opposite for the Screen phase is how much defense against the Pursuit phase you have. So pretty much these guys that have Screen, they can kind of help out the others to run away, if you want so. So that's pretty much a bonus. I don't know the math behind this, to be honest. Just take my word that it's not as important as you may think. Yeah, you get more losses, but it's probably not that important. Yes, that's pretty much it. So that's the phase. The phases in the battle. And let's play this through. Boom. I destroyed him in the early battle phase because it was only 300 men. I could redo this here, but I'm not gonna show more. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say about combat. It's a lot, but still not very lot.